didn't get it.
I said
Really
Philly.
have no clue. Are you that not observant?
Men in black.
Oh, we got 3 black shirts on.
Adam, there you
I
go.
got I have a
Plan
blue
this?
sweater
I mean,
on.
Keith's
Got it.
first day back in Seaport. You guys plan the matching outfits?
No, Jay actually is wearing black, but it's really charcoal. Mine is more black, and his is
Blue.
Navy.
Blue.
Yep,
Blue.
navy.
I am colorblind. It all looks same to me.
There's no way that's navy blue.
This is
That's
navy.
navy blue.
blue.
That's navy blue.
That's
Navy
navy blue.
100%.
Aha, joke's on y'all.
Wrong. Where's the air horn now, Yates?
So it is black. Not.
And we don't have on glasses and black suits or anything, so
So there's a big trade in the NFL. But because I guess it's all draft picks and not names, right? It flies a little bit under the radar, but Saints and Eagles, can you make heads or tails of this? Saints get 16 and 19 in the first round and a 6th rounder, okay? So, well, obviously 16 and 19 are in the first round.
Yep.
The Eagles get 18. Then they get a 3rd rounder, 101 overall. Then a 7th rounder, okay? But then next year, they get a 1st rounder and a 2nd rounder. So they basically, let me see. The Eagles they move back. No. They move. No, they don't move. They
Well,
trade.
the Eagles still have 15 and 18
They move
now.
back
let me help
2
you out
slots.
here, Max,
Yeah,
man.
but they still have 15 and 18.
Right.
Yes.
So the Saints are at 16 and 19 in the first, and they get a 6th rounder.
Mm-hmm.
The Eagles are at 18 and 101 in the 3rd round, 237 in the 7th round. In 2023, they pick up a 1st round pick. In 2024, they pick up a 2nd round pick. So swapping spots with the New Orleans Saints.
They're giving up 2. Forget about let's forget about anything after the 5th round. Okay, like forget about that for a second. The Saints get 2 firsts this year in exchange for a 1st and a 2nd next year and a 1st and a 3rd this year. So they turn a 1st rounder into a 3rd rounder, but then next year they get a 1st and a 2nd.
Quarterback heavy draft next year, right?
Yeah.
You think? Yeah. So it kind of shows, is that Jameis Winston a long-term solution for them?
They're not. The Saints aren't looking. The Saints aren't looking at quarterback this year or next year. What they're doing is they're positioning themselves to make a run this year. Given as I laid out very astutely,
You always speak
You're
with so
supposed
much
to let
conviction.
someone else say that.
You speak out with so much conviction when it comes to the Saints. I'm like, tell me something inside.
when you look at they're missing a tackle that went to the Dolphins in free agency, so they got to replace that. There's a slew of tackles in this year's draft. Not only that, they need to get another receiver to go opposite of Mikey. Not only that, they want to build around some more defensive players. But bigger, the NFC is essentially for them with Jameis Winston, who was 5-2 before he got injured. They want to make a strong run. There's only one team within their division, and that's the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who they basically, for all intents and purposes, own in the regular season.
Yep.
So you start looking at that. Now you say to yourself, okay, we don't think much of Green Bay. We don't think much of Arizona. The Rams won. The Cowboys are and they start looking at it on the board, and they're saying to themselves, we can make a run at this thing, and we can do it right now.
What I like about this is if you're the Saints, you're getting something now, and if you're the Eagles, you're getting something later. The Saints are ready to make a run now, it seems to me, if they're all healthy, right?
They got players.
And the Eagles are not. They might be better than people expect, but it's not like they're going to win the Super Bowl this year.
They're a playoff team.
But next year, if things work out, they'll be much more ready, right? It makes sense.
But here's my question. Like, is there that much trust in Jameis Winston on how he's going to come back off that injury again?
Yeah,
There
ACLs
is? Why?
is like broken fingers nowadays, man.
I know, but like, so the first, he played 4 games, 5 games?
7.
7 before he got hurt? There was enough sample size there
Yeah,
to
he
say
looks
that.
good to me.
Yeah.
He-
Okay.
But so I think without looking at it,
Because now Sean Payton's no longer there.
Yep.
So like that's the quarterback duel,
he's not,
right? So
he's no longer there, but they still have their coaching staff that was there with Jameis Winston. Dennis Allen moves from the defensive side of the ball, although he'll probably still call the defense, to becoming the head coach. Carmichael, who was the offensive coordinator, who helped Sean call plays, who actually called plays when Sean was suspended, whatever year that was, for Bountygate. he was the guy who's calling the play. So there's experience there.
Yeah.
And so if you're not changing the system for Jameis, everything's going to look fine.
Then from the Eagles' point of view, you look at the Eagles, they get next year's quarterback draft. Like when you're talking about, Jay, next year's quarterback draft is better. Forget about the Saints for a second. From the Eagles' point of view, they get another year, and I think Hurts has earned, let's take, not a lifetime job, but let's take a look for another year and see if this thing keeps going on the right track.
I don't think I don't know that they're doing it like that.
Oh, you don't think I think they are setting up for next year.
You can't prepare for next year, this year, because we don't know what these quarterbacks are going to turn out to be.
No, but if Jalen Hurts works out, then you have extra drafts to build around him. If he doesn't work out, then you might take a quarterback. It just makes sense from the Eagles' point of view.
Just holding it in your pocket.
True, but I'm saying they didn't do this trade with the idea of we're going to target a quarterback if it doesn't work out. Because who knows who would be Stroud from Ohio State, CJ Stroud
Porter.
from Ohio State. Who?
Was it Porter?
From where?
I'm drawing a blank on it.
Porter.
I don't know who Porter is. But the quarterbacks, I haven't studied next year's quarterback class. I know CJ Stroud is there. You still got the guy who transferred
Bryce
from
Young.
Oklahoma, Bryce Young. Not Caleb. Yeah, Caleb. You still
Yeah, I think he's 2024. Caleb Williams from USC will be 2024.
Spencer Rattler. That's who it is.
Spencer
But look, the other thing is if you have
him.
if you have draft capital next year, you can also always package that
JT
forward.
Daniels is transferring again. He went somewhere else. So you still got some
But they might be able to make
I don't know if they're good or not, man.
But they might be able to make a move. Once what they're doing is kicking the can down the road, right?
Yeah.
We're going to store up this draft capital for next year. If they don't like what they see next year and they need a quarterback, they can do that again.
I think that makes all the sense in the world. That's what they want to do. Start looking at building in the future because they're not going anywhere anytime soon.
Can the two most disappointing teams in the NBA fix their issues before their championship windows close? That's after Key has this from NetSuite.
In growing companies, there are two kinds of CFOs. The one overwhelmed with manual processes, errors, and lack of control.
Schefter, walk us through everything that's happened that affects the upcoming NFL draft and a couple drafts after that.
Well, Laura, the New Orleans Saints and Philadelphia Eagles agreed to a trade at the start of the show that involved 8 draft picks over the next 3 drafts, including a first-round pick this year that goes from Philadelphia to New Orleans, giving the Saints double ones this year and giving the Eagles double ones in the 2023 draft, which is expected to be a better and deeper draft for quarterbacks. Here is the full compensation from today's trade as you look at it right now. You see what the Eagles get. The 18th pick this year, a 3rd, a 7th, a 1 next year, a 2 and 24. The Saints get number 16 this year, number 19 this year, and a 6th-round draft pick. And so the Saints are trading future picks for 3 picks in this draft, and this is a draft in which the Saints have done a lot of work on linemen. Linemen is considered to be a strength of this draft. Wouldn't be a surprise if the Saints went offensive or defensive line at 16 and 19 or 16 and then maybe a quarterback. They have leverage and options and more flexibility in this draft, whereas the Eagles have more flexibility in the 2023 and 24 drafts.
Yeah, just to get a visual on all of this, here is the big board with the draft order. And it's noticeable there, the Saints, of course, at 16 now after this happened today, getting right ahead of the Chargers, who also have a need at offensive tackle. Got to think that factored into their decision making, although as Adam illustrated, there's a lot more context to all of this. And one of the sides of this is what the Eagles did. And as we've had more time to digest this, I can't help but say, hi everyone, I can't help but say that it just seems to me like the Eagles are winners here. I think the Saints are winners too, but Howie Roseman, Mel, has been really smart about how he's managed this draft capital, knowing going into this year, they had those 3 first-round picks and they had a lot of flexibility with what to do with them.
No question, Laura. 1 pick ahead of the Saints with both 15 and then at 18 in that wide receiver position. They could address, Devontae Smith's going to be a star, no question about that, but there'll be other receivers. We mentioned already Chris Olave and Jamison Williams, but Jahan Dotson from Penn State. I think in the second round, one of the most underrated receivers in this draft is Sky Moore, Western Michigan. But I'll give you a defensive back. They like versatile guys, defensive back, versatile defensive lineman. You got a guy, interior pressure of a Devontae Wyatt from Georgia, but another underrated player is Michigan safety or slot corner, Daxton Hill. Keep an eye out for that name, Daxton Hill, safety out of Michigan, could be a slot corner to go a little higher than a lot of people think.
Yeah, Mina, it's going to be fascinating to see who these teams actually end up getting, especially with some of these picks kind of bunched up together. When you think about the Eagles' perspective here and going all in on Jalen Hurts at least this year, what are your thoughts?
I think this isn't surprising, actually. You know, the Eagles had 3 first-rounders going into this draft, and around the league, in Indianapolis at the Combine, I had a lot of conversations with people who were speculating on what they might do with those picks. Nobody I talked to thought they would pick 3 times in the first round.